Well, good morning and welcome to another Old Ruin Travels. You find me today in the middle of a rather nondescript car park, which used to be Callander Railway Station. But we're not going to be talking about railways today. We're going to be talking about things much older, and one thing that is immensely older. So jump in the car and enjoy the journey. We're heading off to Killin. Well, I'm not here to see what most people come to Killin to have a look at, although I have stopped to admire the River Dochart. Where I'm going is about a quarter of a mile north of here. So I'll see you when I get there. Well, I know I said there wasn't going to be much about railways, but I couldn't resist. This is the site of Killin railway station, which closed in 1965, which is now replaced by public toilets. It's quite handy though, it's just up from the co-op. That's me at one end of Loch Tay. What I plan to do is head to the other end, but stopping off at some really interesting things. What are you looking at me for? Have a look at this. Just a wee walk. First place I'm visiting is a castle built in 1629. And actually one of its guests was Rob Roy McGregor in 1713. It was built by Black Duncan Campbell of Glenorchy, and it's called Finlarrig Castle. Of course it's hiding in the trees and uphill. It's so peaceful here. Legend has it this was used to behead prisoners, but only the ones of noble blood. The commoners were obviously hanged. Oh, I wonder what these are. They look relatively new. Didn't expect to see these. Rather difficult to read. That's clearer. Wonder if these rocks are something different or whether they were originally part of the castle. Because there's a lot of rock missing. Next to the castle is this old mausoleum. Again, seen better days. The mausoleum you see behind me was built in 1829 on the site of an earlier one. Amazing it's still standing like this. Right, that's Finlarrig Castle. Next stop is going to be Rolandrums, a tree. But it'll take a while to get there because I'm not going the most direct route. I'm going to be going one of my favourite roads in this area. And a road with a lot of memories, a lot of good times. When we used to first come here, this hillside was covered in trees. They've all been cut down, but it's not some sort of ecological vandalism. What they're doing is taking down the monoculture, the spruce trees, and replacing them with native trees. That'll help the wildlife. Be a while though. My God, it's quiet. Next stop is probably my favourite of all places on this road. That mountain that's hidden by the cloud is Ben Glass, and behind it, which you can't see, is Ben Lord, both mountains over 3,000 feet. I climbed them both when I was 16. Long time ago. We did that in the morning, and then we did what's known as the Ptarmigan Ridge in the afternoon. Oh, to be that fit again. Well, that's we arrived at a very special place. It was one of my wife and I's favourite wild camping spots, and you'll see why in a minute. Also used it a lot for filming, for a short film I made a few years ago. It's one of the most peaceful, beautiful places I know. It's a bit marshy underfoot, but I'll cope. No disturbing the locals. How we got a flat enough place to camp here, I'll never know. But that's the big attraction. On a hot day, it's wonderful for a swim. I reckon that pool's about 12 feet deep from the last time I tried to dive to the bottom. Well, that's enough of the reminiscences. Time to move on to our next spot. Not too far to go now, but it's probably going to be the oldest living thing I've ever seen. "14 miles on a single track road, but I don't think this one will be as quiet." Okay, I couldn't help myself to stop. The weather's getting brighter and there's a nice little spot here. Now, isn't that pretty? So why have I come to this wee church in a wee village in the middle of nowhere? This is my next stop. This is the Fortingall Yew. It's estimated to be 5,000 years old. It's a European yew. It's said to be one of the oldest trees in Europe. In 1769, the trunk was recorded to have a girth of 52 feet, or 16 metres. According to local legend, Pontius Pilate was born in its shade and played as a child around it. This is probably an embellished myth. Nonetheless, it is stunning. Well, off now to my next place. And as it's 1 o'clock, I think it's time for lunch. Well, that's me in Kenmore. This is not my final spot, but it's a nice place to stop for a coffee, use the toilets. But what a pretty little village this is. I'll give you a quick look around and then we'll go to our final spot where I know there's a cafe. I've actually stayed here. Must be expecting trouble from the west. The two old guys sitting outside. I wonder if their names are Jack and Victor. It was a lovely hotel. Apparently it's closed at the moment, but there's guys in doing some work. They're supposed to be doing it all up again. I hope so, because it was well worth a stay. With wonderful views from the breakfast room. Of course there's somebody cutting the grass. You really just can't beat this view. Right, let's go to our final port of call for today. Just realised I've never once locked the car on all this journey. Ah well, it's Scotland.
Head towards Aberfeldy Road, then slight right onto A827. Slight right. You have arrived.
Well, that's me at the other end of Loch Tay. And I've arrived at the Crannog Centre. What's the crannog? Well, let's go find out. It's very civilised. Hiya.
Oh yes, it is. Yes, yes. Oh, sorry, I'm with you. Yeah, it is. It's him. Stephen. Yeah.
Can't remember the name.
I'm sorry, but can I have a concession?
Yes, of course you can. Don't be sorry.
You're supposed to argue with me, saying you're far too young.
RG, please.
Yeah, if you come with me, I'll give you a bit.
Dan will tell you.
So the tour at 2 o'clock, that's going to start here. That's going to go inside the museum and look at the artefacts, talk about what crannogs are, basically.
Yep.
Out here, it's fully free to roam, just wander around. There's blacksmiths, woodworkers, cooks, weavers, all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
Basically.
brilliant.
And there's-
I was at your old centre before it burned.
okay.
But that was 19 canteen.
Well, we just about finished our new crannog. It's when you get around the corner, you'll see like out on the water, the thatching just got done. It's basically adding a floor, and we're done.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Yeah.
Oh,
So
so it's worthwhile holding on to a ticket and coming back.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So that is a crannog. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm glad it's not raining.
I know, right? Yeah. So welcome to the textile area. And if we want, we can dye it and add different colors in it. So here are some of the colors that we can obtain in the Iron Age.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we're using red. We're using madder, the roots of the madder, to create those bright colors. We need to have 3 years of maturedness of the madder. If not, it's going to make more orangey colors like these ones.
Yeah.
I'm making for myself, but it's going to be the same pattern of the fabric that we have in the museum, which is a 2-1 twill. A 2-1 twill is the type of pattern of how this is going. So when we have all of our threads, 2 are going to be in the back, 1 in the front, 2 in the back, 1 in the front, creating this kind of diagonal pattern.
Studying and then like recommend articles and stuff like that, but also like reflexive journalist. We need to take a minute to think what people say is better than just. Great. So see if anyone else is joining us. So I'm just going to very gracefully shout. See if there's any more.
Oh, it's you again.
That's very good. 2 o'clock tour! 2 o'clock tour! 2 o'clock tour! That's the tour at 2! Do you think they heard me?
I think so.
So first things first, what's a crannog? You guys tell me.
Village.
Not quite.
A round house.
A round house? A little bit more?
Community round house.
Not quite. What would separate a regular roundhouse from a crannog?
On stems and water.
Exactly, exactly. So to be a crannog, it very specifically has to be above the water. So Neolithic times, we get our first sort of settled farmers. They start to build these little villages of roundhouses, and then they decide at some point, once they've got the sort of resources, the wherewithal, they would extend their village onto the water with a crannog. On the left-hand side, we have the pottery from Lewis, and on the right-hand side, we have the pottery from here at Loch Tay. So these crannogs are contemporary, both 500 BC, but let's face it, Isle of Lewis are better potters than us. It goes without saying. So the reason for that is the Isle of Lewis has access to incredibly high-quality clay. Anyone spent a lot of time on Lewis? So this is your Iron Age kitchen. Within this cabinet, on the left-hand side, we've got some spatulas. Haven't really changed much in 2,500 years. The artifacts on the right-hand side of that cabinet, we've got some platters, some plates, fragments thereof. At the front, we've got 3 grain scoops. So there's one very obvious wooden one, then there's another wooden one next to that, and then the one in front of that with little holes on it, that's actually the sternum to a bird. So it's like the bird's chest piece. Probably a goose or a gannet, because it's quite large. But we did work with an osteoarchaeologist who couldn't figure out exactly what type of bird it was, because it's basically worked too much. There's no distinguishing features. This is our saddle quern. So you basically be spreading your grains across it, getting a nice smooth stone, and just grinding the grains into flour.
You trade it and you go to someone, maybe in Inverness is the theory, in Culduthel, where they found lots of glass bead making kilns. And what they did for some reason was make micro beads. Tiny, tiny beads. You don't see this elsewhere, they're reasonable sized beads everywhere else. It might be because we had to trade it that we wanted to get the most out of the puck of glass that we got. Or maybe it's a skill. How tiny I can make this, how delicate. But it's amazing that, yeah, it's had to travel that far. And it was found. Yeah. And it was found. I think it's amazing. Yeah. Eagle eyes. And because they have such control, they go, and the Romans tell us this, that the Celtic blacksmiths are able to create peace between tribes if it doesn't benefit them. Swords, especially for the Celts. And the Romans think we're pretty rubbish when they come and see our swords, because they're a bit long, which makes them more fragile, and is what the Romans said. We don't know, because, yeah, we weren't there.
Well, thank you for coming along with me. It's been a lovely day. 3 quite interesting things and diverse things. And I hope you enjoyed the bit of the travel with the beautiful scenery of Scotland around Stirlingshire and Perthshire. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. You'll never know what I'll get up to next. So, thank you for watching All Druin Travels. I will see you next week.